Hi, welcome. If you are watching, we're just getting started. Go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat and tell me where you're watching from. You can leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook. Just leave a comment and I can interact with you. Chella, welcome. Chella Diaz from Orange, California. Thanks for joining, Chella. I'm gonna just give a few more minutes for some more people to join us. All right. As you're joining in, go ahead and share in the chat where you are watching from, what city and state. And we're waiting on just a few more people. All you have to do is, from YouTube, just leave a comment and I'll be able to see that here in the chat. I am very excited about this training. It's going to be a lot of fun and hopefully I won't be too nerdy for all of you. Because I like to get into some stats and stuff and give you some real value. All right. Just waiting for a few more people to join us here. Hi, Thomas. Welcome. I'm glad you are here to join us. Thomas is joining us from Riverside, watching on YouTube. I see someone's joining us from Facebook. If you could please just leave a comment, let us know where you're joining from. Oh, it's Joy Grace. Happy New Year. Welcome. We're just waiting for people to join in here, and we will get started in just a couple minutes. Thomas says, I couldn't be more nerdy than he is. We'll have to see about that. Huh? And Joy Grace is joining us from Florida via LinkedIn. So while we're waiting for some people to join, I'll just share some of the nerdy stuff with you. Not related to the training, but just actually related to this live stream. I found this really cool software that allows you to stream to multiple channels. So we are live streaming to YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn all at the same time. And I am able to see the comments and chat from all three of those platforms. It's a really cool platform called Restream, Restream. I just learned about it just the other day, and I'm already a pretty big fan. All right. One more minute and we'll dive in and people can just catch up as we go. Oh, yes, Joy Grace. She remembers one time I did a training sharing some tips about using Google Keep, which is a free app for everyone that has a Gmail account. And it is awesome. Similar concept to Evernote. But my favorite feature of it that I show in trainings is that you can capture text from images and copy and paste them. It's very, very handy. All right, Chella's sharing. She moved over from YouTube to LinkedIn. Welcome back. All right, it's 7:05 here. I'm going to go ahead and get started and we'll just let everyone else catch up as they get in. You know, I was getting ready for this call and I couldn't find my phone. I was looking all over the place for it and searched and searched and searched, and I found it wearing my glasses. And I couldn't figure out why until I realized it had lost its contacts. Ba-dunch. All right. I will keep the nerdy jokes to a minimum, but I do have a little bit more of those to share. But I like to bring a little fun into our work. So, yeah, my phone lost its contacts, so it was wearing my glasses. All right, let's dive in here. I'm going to share my screen. We are here tonight to talk about how to write a book that people are begging for. Like, what does that even mean, right? Like, of course you want people to read the book that you write, but how do you know that the book that you're going to write is a book that people actually want? Well, I'm going to teach you that there's actually a way to find out exactly what people are looking for on Amazon. And I know there's other places that you can buy books from, but we know that Amazon's the giant, right? If somebody's wanting to find a book about a certain topic, the first place they go to is Amazon. So I'm going to show you a couple of ways that you can do this research to find out what people are searching for on Amazon and where they're spending their money. So not only are they searching for certain terms, and we'll find out how many people are searching for these different terms, we'll also see how much money the books that come up in those terms are making. And we'll also find out how much competition there is for those topics. So we'll find out if it's a topic that's already flooded on Amazon. There's, thousands and thousands of books, and so, it would be almost fruitless to write another book on that topic. You probably would get buried under all the giants. So I'm going to help you find that sweet spot of topics that you're an expert on, that people are searching for on Amazon, they're spending their money on it, and there's low competition. So I'm very, very excited to be teaching this. Let me get my screen all aligned, and we will dive right in. Before I go to the next slide, I want to ask everyone here, are you already a published author? So that's A, I'm already a published author. Or B, I have written a book, but it's not published yet. Or C, I have an idea, or I would like to write a book, but I haven't started yet. So are you an A, B, or C? You can leave that in the comments. Let me know. If you are already published author, or B, you've already written a book that hasn't been published, or C, you want to write a book. All right. Let's see here. I have Joy Grace is a B. She has written a book and it's not been published yet. Oh, you meant C. Okay. No problems with C. You would like to write a book. I love it. All right. Chella is an A. She is a published author. Let's see. Kimball on LinkedIn is an A. He's already a published author. That's awesome. And some of the things I'm going to be teaching you tonight, you can use these tools for your already published book. As long as you have control over your Amazon listing, you can make adjustments to keywords or categories, things like that. All right, look, Thomas says, I am a self-published with books and currently have a series of articles being published in a magazine. Awesome, awesome. I love it. All right, let's get into what right do I have to teach you guys about writing a book? Can you hear me? Can you see me? All right. Holly says the Wi-Fi's not working there. She'll look forward to the recording. All right. Chella says she can hear me. Thomas says it's back. Okay. We are back. Okay. Technology, right? This is being recorded and you will have access to the replay. So, but yeah, that's so great. Let me know in the chat if it cuts out again and we can adapt. All right. Back at it. Let me jump back over here. So, like I was sharing, there's, benefits to making your book a bestseller, and I will be teaching how to do that in later trainings. The training today is focused on planning out that book, right? Figuring out what it is that you want to do. Let's see. Now I want to talk about why self-publish and why on Amazon. If you want to find a traditional publisher, go for it. You totally can. And if you want to publish on other platforms besides Amazon, go for it. You totally can. I'm sharing what my experience and my expertise has been. And it's been that, like I mentioned before, Amazon's the giant, right? That's where people are going to find books. And other distributors will, give you distribution on Amazon as well. For me personally, I like to do it directly on Amazon because they give some perks. You get to be in their lending library and thing, which is where most of my book sales happen. There are some pros and cons, as you can see here, between self-publishing and traditional publishing. What I love about self-publishing is that you have control over your book's outcome. Right? If you go through a traditional publisher, they're going to be very involved in the content of your book. And they're going to be very strict with deadlines and telling you what you need to write about and when you need to write it. So self-publishing, you get to decide all of that on your own. And through this program, I'll be showing you won't have to do it completely on your own. There is a support system for you. Other benefits with self-publishing is you own 100% of your book rights. You don't have to share those rights with anybody. You have control over the story. It is yours. You also have control over design, like the cover and stuff, which can have pros and cons, right? Traditional publishers have designers that will design it for you. But there are a lot of great resources out there. There are artists. I know some personally that I could connect you to. I know there's some great artists on Fiverr and different places like that. So if that's one of your reasons for wanting traditional publishing, there are other options. And then finally, with self-publishing, you get to keep your royalties. Of course, with Amazon, there is a split, and based on how much you charge, will determine what percentage of the royalties you get. But of those royalties you get, you keep them. Amazon gets their cut because they're hosting it and they're doing really most of the hard work. But with the traditional publishing, they keep a lot more of the royalties than compared to when you self-publish. So that's my little spiel on why I'm going to be recommending self-publishing on Amazon. Again, if you want to go a different route, totally fine. This information will still be helpful. All right. Like I mentioned, this is part of a bigger training. I am putting together a 6-month program. So this is March. We're working on planning out the book, right? Doing the research, finding out what market there is for the book you want to write, outlining, doing all the detail work. And then April, we'll have a training on writing your book. I wrote my book in 1 month. Actually, wrote 2 books in 1 month. Well, 2 separate months, but 30 days to write a book. With taking this full month for planning, the 1 month for writing is not as hard as it sounds. You You already know what you're going to write because you have an outline. And then it's just whether you're physically, typing on a computer, or there's great options for speech to text where you can do a recording of yourself talking and convert that into text. So writing's not as scary as it seems. The following month in May, I'll do a training on editing and formatting your book. And then June is all focused on marketing. If you noticed on the previous slide, the one thing that both traditional publishing and self-publishing don't provide on their own is marketing. That second to last point there. Either way, whether you traditionally publish or self-publish, you still have to do your own marketing. So I will be dedicating an entire month to doing some pretty fantastic marketing for your book and keeping costs to a minimum. I know for me, I didn't have a big budget for self-publishing a book. So I'm going to share my tools and tips with you. And then in July, you'll be publishing the book. And in August, we'll be implementing strategies to use that book to grow your business. With that said, like I said, this is built around books for your business, but I know some people have different reasons for writing books. So we'll be talking about that also. So why should you write a book? If it's for your business, it's probably to get clients or customers, right? It's a marketing tool. People talk about it being your most expensive business card, right? So maybe you're using it to get clients. Maybe you want to be a paid speaker. So having a book is a great way to set yourself up to be a professional speaker, or you have a program or course you want to sell. Or, and this was what was for my first book, was I just had a story to tell. It wasn't about making money. It wasn't about growing my business. It was about, there was a story on my heart that I needed to share. So in the comments, let me know which one of these is you. Are you writing your book, or did you write your book? Are you writing to get clients and customers, to get speaking engagements, to sell something, or to tell your story? Let me know. It also lets me know that you're still getting my feed. Can you hear me? Let me know in the comments, what reason do you have for wanting to write your book? All right, well, while you guys are entering your answers, I'll tell you a little story. There was a writer that died, and after he died, he had the option of going either to heaven or to hell. And so he decided he wanted to check each place out before he made his decision. So first he descended into the fiery pits of hell. Let me put this so you guys can see me. So first he descended into hell, and he looked around and he saw row upon row of writers just chained to their desks in a steaming sweatshop. And as they worked, they were repeatedly whipped with thorny lashes. "Oh my," the writer said, I'm ready to see heaven now. Get me out of here." So a few moments later, he ascended into heaven, saw rows and rows of writers chained to their desks in a steaming sweatshop. And as they worked, they too were being whipped with thorny lashes. "Wait a minute," said the writer. "This is just as bad as hell." "Oh, no, it's not," said an unseen voice. "Here, your work gets published." So it's been a traditional experience that it takes an act of God to get published traditionally. But thanks to the self-publishing options, we don't have to die and go to heaven before we can become published authors. All right, and I've got some responses in here. Joy says she's none of the above. Can hear you. Chella says it's to get clients and sell online course. Okay, great. Awesome. Let me try switching to video. Let me know when if the audio comes back. Chella, no audio. I can see you're updating the comments. Okay, so video's working, but audio's not working. Let's see. My internet connection looks like it's good. It might be the fact that I'm streaming to so many places. Okay, Thomas says you can hear me now. Okay, good. All right, I will jump back in and continue forward. All right, so these are generally the two types of nonfiction books that people want to write. And we are tonight going to be focusing on the nonfiction sharing your knowledge type. All right. So now getting into the main topic of this training is, what are people begging for? Like I mentioned earlier, what phrases are they typing into Amazon? Which of those phrases are selling a lot of books? And how much competition is showing up for these phrases? So first step is doing some keyword research. Like I mentioned earlier, there are two ways that we can do this. There is a manual way where we go into Amazon and we do some pretty tedious research, or there is a software that automates a lot of this for you, and I will show you both options. So the two options are spreadsheets that I have created that do some calculations for you. So you go on Amazon, you find topics you're interested in writing about, and you plug them into this spreadsheet that I made, and it does some calculations for you to tell you, how much competition there is, how much demand there is for the book, and that is going to be in a free online course that is where this recording will be available. The recording from this training will be on there, as well as the downloads. And I will give you a link at the end of the training on where you can get the free downloads. The next option is the software I'll be telling you about called Publisher Rocket that automates this for you. And that's a $97 software. And I know not everyone's interested in buying software. So the third option is if you want to just have a call with me, and since I already have the software, we can do the research together and get some answers for you. But first I want to show you the free option, right? I'm all about not spending money unless it's absolutely necessary. So either way, whether you use the software or you do it manually on your own, you need to figure out what topics you're interested in writing about. So if you're sharing your knowledge, get some ideas of, okay, maybe what you want to write about, what you do for a living, right? If you have your own business, or even if you're an employee, there's something that you have expertise in, and so maybe that's what you want to write about. Or maybe it's something you went to school for. I know a lot of us went to school for one thing and do something totally different in our careers, but that's still knowledge that you have, and maybe that's something you want to share. And then the other option is maybe there's something you do for fun that's a hobby, and you have some really good knowledge on that topic and you want to write about that. So this is just to get some ideas going for you to start thinking. If you don't already have a specific topic in mind that you want to write about, then these are some great ideas. All right, and then the second part of this question is, who are you writing for? So who's your ideal customer? What are their pain points? And what transformation do they need in their life? These questions should help you come up with some search phrases that you want to research on Amazon, right? So maybe it's building robots and you're wanting to teach teenagers how to build robots, but they have no money, right? So building robots on a budget for teens, like those are some of the keywords that maybe you're interested in researching. All right, so here is the manual free way to do this research. You'll get on your computer, open up the internet, and you want a incognito or guest browser. What that is you want a browser that you are not logged into Amazon on, right? You don't want it to be showing you your search history. You want this to be just authentic Amazon suggestions. So in that browser, you'll go to Amazon.com. In the search filter, you'll set it to Kindle Store, and you'll type in your search phrase. Don't hit enter, just type it in and see what suggestions come up. If any of those suggestions are related to what you want to write out, write all those down. And you can get a lot of suggestions from Amazon. Again, those are phrases that people are typing in. Amazon's suggesting that because there are people that have typed that in before. So you put your phrase, do a space, see what else comes up. And if you really want to dig in deep and see all the variations of that phrase, type the phrase space letter A. See all the things that come up after the letter A. Then backspace, letter B, and just go through the entire alphabet, and you'll have a huge list of different search phrases that people are typing into Amazon related to that topic that you are interested in writing about. Like I said, this is the tedious, manual way of doing this research, but the information's there. So I want to share that with you, that you can do this on your own. This is the spreadsheet that I made for you all, and I'll give you the link at the end where you can download this for free. You'll pick those search phrases. Now that you have the list, you'll start one phrase at a time. Press enter so it brings up the search results for that phrase. Put that in. You'll want to record the number of search results that come up for that phrase. Right? That's going to tell you how much competition there is for that topic. And then you want to make a list of the top 14 books in that search result. Right? That's basically Amazon's first page of results. Then for each of those books, you want to write down how many reviews that book has. Right? That tells you, okay, this book is in the top results maybe because it has 1,000 reviews. But if you notice, wow, there's books here in the top results that only have a handful of reviews, that means it's not going to be that hard to bump that title out of the top listing so that your book can get there. Another information you want to collect is the publication date. So you'll scroll down. There's a section about halfway down in the information about a book that will tell you the publication date. That lets you know also, if this book is just a new release, okay, they're probably doing some pretty heavy marketing right now, but it's probably going to drop down later. But if you notice that all the books in the top 14 for that phrase are 3, 4, 10 years old, okay, it's going to be really hard to bump those books out of there. So this is telling you how much competition there is for that book, right? We know the number of search results and how strong of a position those books have in the top results. The next thing you'll want to write down is the Amazon bestseller ranking. Amazon gives it a number. It numbers every book in Amazon. It ranks them in an order. So you put that number in and also write down the price, because we want to know if these are books that are, are these just free books or are these books that are making some money? And then the column that says books sold per day, that header is a hyperlink to a free calculator that you'll put in the Amazon bestseller ranking for that book, and it will calculate the estimated number of books sold per day for it to be at that ranking. So this is where you find out how much of a demand there is for books on this topic, right? People are spending money somewhere. Is it on these books? And then I have some formulas there that will calculate how much revenue per month those books are doing, and then an average. And this is where it gets really tedious. You would repeat this process for every search phrase that you wrote down. So this spreadsheet's a template, so you would duplicate the spreadsheet and copy it for each search phrase you want to do. But this is giving you some really important information so that if you're going to take the time to write a book, and let me tell you, it's a lot of work. It's worth it, but it's a lot of work. And if this is a book that you want it to reach people, you want it to be a book that makes an impact, this research will help you so much in knowing if there's a demand for it, and if people are spending their money to get books on this topic. This is the free calculator I mentioned. There's a link in that spreadsheet where you just put in that number and click there, and it will tell you the number of books sold per day. The alternative is this really cool software called Publisher Rocket. It was made by a company called Kindlepreneur. So their focus is on entrepreneurs that want to be self-published authors. And they, figured out how to do this keyword research and knew how tedious it was. So they created this software where you search for a keyword and it will automatically list all the variations of that keyword, and it goes above and beyond what we can do in our spreadsheet, right? It tells you the number of pages if you're interested in that, but then the number of competitors, right? How many people come up in those search results, the average price for books in that search term, average monthly earnings, and then it takes it a step further and they have proprietary algorithms to calculate the estimated Amazon searches per month. So how many people per month are typing in this keyword in Amazon? And then it does a scoring system and color codes them. So green means there's a high demand, yellow means there's a moderate demand, and red means low demand, right? These red ones show less than 100 people are searching for that per month. And then the last column is the competitive score. So this is where they factor in the number of search results, the number of competitors, how much money they're making, how old the books are, how many reviews they have. Does a whole calculation to give it a score 1 through 100. And so this is a column where you want a low competitive score. Right? This means low competition. So the green ones are low competition, yellow would be moderate competition, and then red would be high competition. So then you just scroll through these results, and I always look for green, right? High demand, low competition. People are wanting this book, and there are not enough options out there for them. So this software, like I said, it's $97 just one time. There's no monthly fee or anything. And it gives you so much information. And this is just one of the features. It does a competition analyzer. If I clicked on the button on the last column for any of these, it would show me the actual books listed and how many books it's selling per month and how much money they're making and what categories they're in. There's also category search where you can find out how much competition is in different categories. It even does Amazon ad keyword research. So it goes way beyond what I'm providing to you guys in the free spreadsheet. But like I said, if you don't have any money to spend right now, the free spreadsheet would totally work. The second part to this training, so I've been talking a lot about the nerdy stuff of, getting all these numbers and putting them in place to figure out how much competition, how much demand. What are the books that people are begging for on Amazon? So give me a thumbs up if that part has been helpful, and we will dive into, once you know which topic you want to write on, right? You did all this research, you've gotten all these numbers, and you've narrowed it down. You've eliminated the ones that have high competition. You've eliminated the ones that have a low demand, and you've really narrowed down what topic you want to write on. Now it's time to outline your book. And I recommend taking a full month just outlining, because the more information you have in your outline, the less likely you are to end up with writer's block when you're sitting down to write. If your outline has everything prepared for you, then you just sit down, open your outline, and you start writing. Awesome. Thank you, Thomas. All right. I will be providing you guys 2 different templates for book outlines. I mentioned earlier I'll be talking about traditional nonfiction books, and then also memoirs. So the first outline I have for you is for just sharing your knowledge, nonfiction books. And what you want to do is have an introduction, 10 to 20 steps, and a conclusion. Pretty simple. Once you know what that topic is, and it could be even less than 10 steps if you want. If you want it to be a short read, there is a great category in Amazon for short reads. Books less than 100 pages. That's a great niche. If you want to take advantage of that, you can make it a small book. But typically it's between 10 to 20 steps that you're sharing with people. So you'll have this outline and you'll just write out the steps. Like I said, take your time. You might want to reorder them at some point, but this is to get you started. And then once you know what topics you're going to have for all your chapters, however many there are, in the template I set it up for 20 chapters, but you can add more or take some away. And let me know if you can hear me. All right, we will take just a moment. All right, Joy also says we lost audio. All right, let's see what we can do here. Oh, Chella says I'm back. Okay. Thank you, Chella. All right, we will get through this. And like I said, you will get access to the replay. I will go through and I'll clean it up and, cut out all these pauses that we're dealing with and give you a clean replay. All right, let's jump back in. Let's see. Says my network connection is excellent. Why can't you hear me? All right, Chella says it went out again. Well, don't know why. Everything looks good on this end. All right, Thomas says he can hear me. Chella can hear me. Okay. All right, let's jump over here. Okay, we're almost through the chapter outline. So you'll want to combine the supporting content and stories and examples when you are doing the actual writing, but for the outline, you can keep them separate because this part is just to put your ideas out, right? And then after listing stories and examples, you'll write some key takeaways that you want the reader to get from that chapter, and then a closing summary and some kind of segue to the next step or the next chapter. And you'll just repeat that for each of those chapters. So whether that's, chapter 2 through 19, if you're doing a 20 chapter book, you'll do this. And that's why I say take a full month. Maybe it's, the first day you just list out your idea of what the chapters should be on. And then the next day you start, listing some story ideas and some examples. And then from there you start putting ideas for hooks, and just take the time to really flesh out your outline. And by taking multiple days, you get new ideas, because once you start thinking about something and then you sleep and you do other things, your mind starts pulling in ideas and inspiration. So definitely take that time to do these outlines. After you've finished those middle chapters, then you'll do the final chapter. And the outline is a little more simple. You still want some kind of hook to draw the reader in. And then it will be a summary of the entire book, which by the time you get to this one, you'll have outlined the entire book. So you'll know what points you want to share in the summary. You'll tie all the chapters together and give the reader some kind of call to action. Pretty simple. And then the very last chapter you'll outline is the first chapter, because now you have everything planned out. You know what the book is about. So you can go back to outline that first chapter. You'll still want a hook. And here you're going to connect with the reader. So what is the reader's pain point? What struggle are they having? And then what benefits are they going to get from this book, which you already know because you outlined all of the steps, what they'll learn. Share some of your background as the author and what compelled you to write this book. And then you'll segue to that second chapter, which, again, you already outlined, so you'll know exactly what you want to share to draw them into that chapter. So that's it for outlining a traditional nonfiction book. Like I said, I will give you this free template. You'll be able to download it, and I believe it'll be really helpful. I know for my books, having an outline saved me. There was no writer's block or wondering what to write. I just sat down and wrote whatever I had told myself to write. So it's really good. The other kind of outline I want to share with you is for a memoir. If you're wanting to write a memoir, it's very different from a traditional book. This is more similar to writing a novel, right? You're telling a story. Whether it's, my book covered a few months of time, maybe if you're writing your memoir, it could even cover years of time. And so you want to use the story arc. We all have experience with the story arc. If you've read a book, a nonfiction book, or you've watched a movie, you have witnessed the story arc. There's some kind of setup. All of Andy's toys are in the bedroom. We just find out that they can talk and stuff. And then there's some kind of inciting incident. Something happened. It's the birthday party and there's a new toy that's going to take over. Then you get to a climax. The struggle between the toys and, them getting, Buzz getting lost. It all builds up to that climax. And then there's some kind of fallout from the climax where the consequences come, and then it ends with some resolution, right? All the toys are returned home and Andy's happy and the toys are happy. Toy Story is just one example, but this is a very common theme in book writing, and it's very useful for writing a memoir, is to take your personal story and outline it so that the reader can follow this story arc. And I have an outline specifically for memoirs. Looks a little bit different because it's more similar to like screenwriting, where you'll be wanting to write what is the opening scene for that chapter, what characters are in that chapter, right? For a memoir, these are real people or animals, right? Depending on your memoir. My memoir talked a lot about my pets. So what characters are in that chapter? What is the setting? That's, location and time period. It's very important in writing a memoir to be mindful of the time period. What technology was in place at that time. If this was pre-internet, they can't be Googling something in the story. You have to remember what that setting was like. And then what point of view are you writing it from? Is it first person? Is it third person? And then what is the goal of the main character? And just like in a movie or a nonfiction, there's some kind of conflict, right? You're telling something about your story is interesting enough that you want to tell it. It's probably because there's some kind of overcoming a struggle, right? And that's what you want to tell in the conflict. And then there's a transition to the next scene. And then you'll want to write down any quotes or references that you want to remember for that. So this is the outline for planning out a memoir. I personally use this for both of my books, the one that's already published and the one that I am still working on. And it is very helpful. So you will get this as a free download as well. And like I said, I'm putting this recording and all these free downloads into an online course. And since you are in this training, you're going to get it completely free. It will take me a little time to segment the replay and get it uploaded there. So I'll give you the link where you can go and pre-register for it so that as soon as it's ready, you'll have access to it. And just circling back to what I had mentioned before, if you want to use Publisher Rocket for yourself, it's great if you are planning to do multiple books, right? And you're going to want to do keyword research on a variety of topics. $97 isn't that much if you're going to be using it over and over and over again. That's why I purchased it, because I'm using it a lot with my clients and for this training. So it's a great investment. But if you're not ready to spend that much, but you still want to use it, you can book a keyword strategy call with me and we will do it together. And even if you wanted to buy the software yourself, if you still want that coaching to go along with it, I am happy to do that on those calls. And so where you can get the free downloads is at book.nicolebarber.com/planning. Like I said, this is the first in the series, so there will be other landing pages for each training that I do. All right, so on book.nicolebarber.com, you can get access to the free downloads and to get access links to the training to sign up, or to download Publisher Rocket, or to book a coaching call with me. All of those options are on that landing page. So like I said, that was book.nicolebarber.com/planning. And now I would love to take any questions or comments. Was this helpful? Did you learn something new? Do you have some ideas for your book that you've already written or the book you want to write? Just shoot me a comment and I will answer any questions. We've got a few minutes until the hour, so I'm here to be here for you, to help you succeed. So let me know how I can help. Thank you, Thomas. Thomas said this was very helpful. I'm so glad. And like I said, Thomas, you purchased that strategy call, so we'll go into some detail on your topics. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Thomas. That's so kind of you. All right. Any questions? Anything that I can do to help you before we all get ready for bed? Thank you, Thomas. Oh, thank you, Chella. That's very helpful. All right. Well, if there aren't any comments, I can let you all go. I'll put that link up for you again, so that you make sure that you go and get those free downloads. book.nicolebarber.com/planning. You'll get the spreadsheet where you can do the keyword research yourself. You will get the both outline templates, so for the nonfiction and for the memoir. All right. Thomas says, do you do this for YouTube channels? Do what? That'd be like keyword research for YouTube channels? Is that your question? I need a little clarity there, Thomas. So I wanna answer that question for you. Yes, okay. I have not provided that yet, but I already mentioned I am a total nerd, so now that you mentioned it, it's going to be stuck in my head, and I'm probably going to spend a couple of days doing some research on what it is that goes into search engine optimization for YouTube. Because I imagine there is a value there in knowing what, because, right, besides Google, the top search engine is YouTube, which is owned by Google. So it also shows up on Google. So it's a great place to be marketing yourself. All right, Thomas says he has 2 and no idea why some videos get lots of views and some do not. Okay, yeah, I am intrigued about that. You have 2 channels and one gets lots of views and some don't. All right, I will get back to you on that. I'm gonna do some research, see what information I can get from my resources. And that definitely could be a future training. Thomas says he even had a few videos go viral, but he doesn't know how to repeat that. That is very important to know, because I know they say it's somewhat unpredictable how things go viral, but I know there is some things that you can do if you know, like this information we learned tonight on what are some common topics. And I know that there is like trending things on YouTube. So that is probably where we could get some information about what kind of things are currently trending. Because comparing YouTube to Amazon's a little more evergreen, that people aren't going to search Amazon for current events, right? Because books take time to write and they take time to be published. So something that's being searched on Amazon, it's being searched that over time. Whereas with YouTube, things are constantly revolving in there, right? People are posting videos going live or, whatever the latest craze is. So it would definitely be a bit different in finding out what is working, and it would be something that changes frequently, I imagine. But I am intrigued in learning that, so I will get back to you with that. All right, well, if there's no other questions, I will let you all go. I want to thank you for joining me. This has been a lot of fun. I'm so glad I could share these things. I was so excited to learn them. So I was like, I need to tell somebody. This is really useful, valuable information. Because if you're going to take the time to write a book, you want to make sure that it's going to reach people. So let's all write the book that people are begging for. All right, with that, I want to thank you all and wish you guys a good night. Good night, everybody. Thank you.